Of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are the West.
Back-to-back wins have given the Rangers something to build on. Now sustaining that success is critical. Hoping to ride some of their newfound momentum, Vanny and crew will look to make it twice as nice in Game 2 tonight in the Twin Cities. This is Rangers baseball presented by AT&T. What a contrast in weather. Yesterday, cold, almost miserable at times. Today, one of the most beautiful days we have had all summer, and a spectacular setting for baseball tonight. The Rangers and the Twins. Game 2 of this long 4-game series. And we welcome you inside this beautiful ballpark at Target Field. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. Nice win last night for the Rangers. More power on display for Joey Gallo. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this new age hitter in the game. Joey Gallo, a great representation of that. The power, the strikeouts, the on base, and it's working right now for him.
It certainly is. Swinging a very good bat, and I think for Joey Gallo, getting consistent at bats has been huge. When you have that kind of swing, consistency is really important. Let's take you to last night and show off what Joey Gallo had been doing. The power has been unbelievable. We're going to take you through this at bat against the lefty Mejia. Good breaking ball. You see him swinging and missing right through that pitch, and then he chases one out of the zone. A lot of times you look at Joey Gallo down 0-2 to a lefty. That's probably going to be it for him. He lays off the low breaking ball. Nice job. And then all of a sudden you see him lifting that one and taking off. And we saw him go in the upper deck. So just a really good at-bat when it was all said and done for Joey Gallo against a left-handed pitcher. I think that's a really important sign to see from the power hitter. And for more on Joey Gallo, let's send it down to Leslie.
Throughout the season, Joey Gallo has continued to work on that two-strike approach. He's even gone and talked to older guys in the clubhouse like Adrian Beltre, and here's what he's figured out. He wants to make sure that he doesn't go down looking as much as he used to. Basically, he said he wants to always at least get some part of the bat on the ball and make something happen. Joey said, if you go down looking, you're putting it in the umpire's hands. Said he'd much rather put it in his own. And of course, last night, that worked out well for him with that 3-run blast. And like you mentioned, CJ, against a lefty. That's back-to-back home runs now against left-handed pitchers. But of course, Joey just said after the game, I got lucky. I think we know it was a little bit more than that, guys.
Yeah, it is all a part of the game plan with Joey Gallo. Come on, we know better than that, Joey. And he has been swinging the very hot bat. So now we look forward to the pitching matchup tonight. Martin Perez for the Rangers, and an old friend, really, literally an old friend, Bartolo Colon goes for Minnesota.
He is the ageless one now at 44 years old. We'll take a look here, of course, at Bartolo Colon going tonight. But what he has done over the course of his career, yes, he is Old Man River without a 20th big league season for him. Lots of different teams. He's got 235 career wins, so he has been very good over the course of his career. Check that out, 20 career wins against the Texas Rangers. That is the most by any pitcher, so he's very familiar, of course, with the organization, despite the unbelievable amount of turnover that has happened over the course of his career. He'll be going up against Martin Perez here for the Rangers, and you see what he did in his loss to the Twins. 6 innings pitched. Of course, that was back in April, and Martin, as we always talk about him, the great velocity from that left-handed arm, the plus changeup that he has as well. He'll have his hands full. A pretty good Twins lineup here. They can battle some at-bats against left-handed pitching. We'll see how he does tonight.
Well, for all the talk of the great power, and we do love it, there's been a lot of success for the Rangers this year at the top of the order. Shin-Soo Choo, Delano DeShields, they'll be in the spotlight with Leslie McCaslin when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
a picture on the Gold Glove. Hey, Adrian Beltre has a few of those. As we welcome you back. Now inside target field. Well, one of the things that's been extremely consistent for the Rangers this season has been that leadoff spot. Whether it's Shin-Soo Choo, like it's going to be tonight, or Delino DeShields, both guys have found a way to get this team going early on. That's why they're both in our Shiner light blonde spotlight. Choo, like a true veteran, has done his role well. In 52 games, he's batting a .281 with 8 home runs, scoring 38 runs. Elvis Andrews told me these two guys set the tone for the team. As soon as they get on base, it makes it easier on Elvis and then on down the line. And whether it's him or Delino DeShields, when he's hitting a leadoff home run like the night before, or getting that leadoff walk like last night and scoring the first run of the game, it is huge to have that insurance early on, especially the way he steals bases. He's batting a .257 in 40 games, and he scored 32 runs. And they've been a big key to this offense, both consistently finding a way to get on base. Choo leads the way in the American League. DeShields in 12. Rangers are one of just 2 AL teams with 2 players in the top 12. Well, meanwhile, on the other side, Martin Perez will be looking for the leadoff guy to get Texas going early. Dave and CJ and the first pitch are just around the corner as the Rangers try and make it 2 in a row against the Twins.
Don't know.
It's got to be, right? Oh, no, I guess not.
It doesn't have to be.
No, that is that because Rangers is 7. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Well, it is a beautiful day for baseball tonight here at Target Field in Minneapolis. Ready to go. Let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup. For the Texas Rangers, you see Choo leading off tonight as the DH. Then, per usual, Andrews, Mazara, Beltre toward the heart of the order. Odor, Napoli, Joey Gallo in left field today. Gomez drops to 8th, and Brett Nicholas, starting behind the plate, will have the start in bat 9th.
They'll be going up against Bartolo Colon. You see him there taking his warm-up. So let's take a look at the Bartolo Colon arsenal, and it is pretty simple. 84, an astonishing 84% fastballs from Bartolo Colon. He has always had very good precision. When you look at the command, you'll see a changeup and a slider once in a while, but it is mostly fastballs, both the 4-seamer and the 2-seamer from the long-time right-hander. All right, let's take a look at the defense. They'll be playing behind Bartolo Colon. Rosario Buxton, Grossman in the outfield. Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, and Joe Mauer will be in the infield. You see there Chris Jimenez behind the plate tonight with Bartolo Colon.
Well, and there is Shin-Soo Choo heading to the plate with a .257 average, but as we always point out with him, and as Leslie just pointed out in our spotlight, .371 on-base average for Chu continues to be one of the best at getting on base. Bartolo Colon, and a first pitch swinging. Chu lines this one out to right field. It's a base hit. We are underway with a sharp single to right and a great start for the Rangers.
That certainly did not take long for Chu. He gets a first pitch fastball, looked like a two-seamer that Bartolo Colon threw right over the heart of the plate. And Chu will do that to you once in a while. As much as he can work in a bat and take you deep, he'll also look for something early. He's been very good in that regard this year, and I think Bartolo Colon might have been thinking he was going to get a free strike. But Shin-Soo Choo had other plans.
So very good. And now Chu with his lead. Andrus going out toward right field and back to the wall. That one bounces off the fence. Andrus heads to second. He has a stand-up double. Chu all the way over to third. 2 pitches in, and the Rangers have second and third. Nobody out.
Rangers are a good fastball hitting team, and they know the game plan here for Bartolo Colon. And there's another two-seam fastball. That one, Bartolo was trying to throw the outer half of the plate and kind of bring it back. And that one came back a little bit too far, as you see Chu there playing it safe, making sure that ball was going to get down before he took off. And so he easily gets to third base. And you're right, 2 pitches, 2 runners in scoring position for Nomar Mazara.
So a real nice start to this one. Now Nomar, 246 average with 13 home runs. Right, Colon's first offering runs inside. Colon's going to give you a lot of fastballs, as we discussed. And most of them two-seamers. You can see when he's had his back against the wall this year, it has not gone well, with the opposition hitting .451 with runners in scoring position. And Mazara lifts this one high in the air on the infield, back of second base. Dozier puts it away.
Well, it seemed like that would have been the perfect storm. We just showed the number there for Bartolo Colon. Runners in scoring position. Nomar Mazara is having a very good year as well, with runners in scoring position, hitting over 300. But this one worked out in Bartolo Colon's favor.
So, a couple of combatants very familiar with one another. Adrian Beltre comes up against Bartolo Colon. Beltre, now 38 years old in his 20th big league season. Bartolo Colon, 44 years old, the oldest active major leaguer. And these two have seen quite a bit of one another over the years. This is the 75th at bat for Beltre against Colon.
He's done pretty well against them in his career. .270 batting average, has taken him deep 6 times. Not bad. 10 strikeouts in those 74 at bats.
Those 6 home runs, most Beltre has against any one pitcher. And there's a strike. It is 1-1.
It's not too often. We'll get to watch a big league game where Adrian Beltre stepping in the box and he's looking out at a pitcher or anybody else on the field that is significantly older than him. Not like, oh, they're kind of close. This guy's 39. It's kind of by 6 years.
1-1 pitch. And that one is off the plate. Yeah, Bartolo Colon was with Atlanta, released on July 4th this year. Twins didn't waste any time. They swooped right in and signed him 3 days later. Did make 1 start for the Twins AAA club in Rochester. This is his 4th start with Minnesota. And that one turned foul by Beltre. It's 2-2.
That gives you a little bit of an idea where the Twins are this year with their starting pitching. They picked up Dylan G after he left the Texas Rangers. Bartolo Colon after he leaves the Atlanta Braves. They had traded for Jaime Garcia, had him all for 1 start before they moved on and flipped him over to the New York Yankees. A lot of turnover here this season in that rotation for the Twins.
So second and third, 1 out. The 2-2 to Beltre. Inside, it's a full count. Yesterday, Adrian was 0 for 5 One of those rare hitless nights of the average dipped below 300 for the first time in quite some time. Check of the runners, now the 3-2. And this one is lined to center field. That's a base hit. Chu is in. Andrus right behind him. And Beltre drives in a pair. Rangers lead 2-0.
First of all, good at bat by Adrian Beltre. He gets himself into that full count. He knew most likely a fastball was coming, and he handled it pretty well as that two-seamer came back over the plate. He muscles this ball into center field, but also a great read by Elvis Andrus. Watch him. He is gone. No hesitation, just taking off, almost catching up to Chu. He scores easily. And yeah, the Rangers just like that, up 2-0.
Saw a terrific beginning to this one. Beltre now over at first base, and now it's Rougned Odor. Colon misses with ball one. So Chu with a base hit to right on the very first pitch of the game. On the next pitch, Elvis doubled off the wall in right field. And then 1 out later, Beltre in an extended at bat delivers the 2-run single. Called strike, and it's 1-1. Odor 1 for 4 yesterday. No stretch now, though. Last 9 games, he's lifted his average a good 10 points. He's gone 12 for 37 in those 9 games. And he's done it with a lot of power. 4 homers in that stretch. Checks his swing. That one is outside. It's 2-1. And even going just a little bit deeper, 7 home runs in the last 11 games. We have seen a couple of these Rangers really catch fire. Odor, one of them, and then later, perhaps even in this inning, we may see the other, and that's Joey Gallo. Ground ball, shortstop, backhand Polanco. He'll go to second for 1. The relay to first in time, and that's a double play to end the inning. So the Rangers will take the 2 runs off Bartolo Colon, and now the Twins will come to bat. Pick up 2 runs off Bartolo Colon, and now bottom of the first inning, we'll take a look at what the Twins will trot out there tonight. 51 wins, 55 losses. Brian Dozier at the top of the order per usual. Escobar, Sano, and then Joe Mauer. Sano not just leading the Twins, but among the league leaders in both those categories in the American League. Robbie Grossman gets the start in right field. He's batting 5th today. Jorge Polanco, the shortstop, will round things down at the bottom of the order for Minnesota. Well, Martin Perez ready to go to work. 5 wins, 9 losses, a 5.13 earned run average. And this is 21st start of the season.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Martin Perez. 57% fastballs. It's a good one, averaging 94 miles an hour. You're also going to see that changeup, the curveball, and the slider from the lefty.
Fly ball. That one out to right field. Mazara goes back, and it is gone. Dozier has some legitimate power in that leadoff spot. His 18th home run of the year. He's cut the Rangers' lead in half.
Even though it's somewhat maybe, I don't know, let's call it a down year, but not quite the year that he had in 2016 when he hit 42. Brian Dozier still has some pop, and he showed it off there going opposite field against Martin Perez. That's a fastball. It's not terribly located. It's, you know, outer third near the corner, elevated a little bit. You got to think if you're putting that ball at least on the outer third like that, you're not necessarily expecting Brian Dozier to take it opposite field and that far up as well. So give him some credit. Well, it was a pretty decent pitch.
Not a cheapie for Brian Dozier. There you go. 24th career leadoff homer. And Eduardo Escobar, the switch hitting third baseman. They counted 1-1 on him.
We're calling it 382 here in Minnesota as far as how far that ball went. That's a big opposite field home run.
Ball and 2 strikes. Escobar has a little power. 10 home runs this year. 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk. Swing and a foul tip. That one gathered up and the tag put on Escobar, and there is out number 1.
Martin did a really nice job in this at bat going below the zone against Escobar. He did a nice job of locating a changeup earlier in the at bat. Does a really good job of getting Escobar in swing mode once he had him in that 1-2 count. And buried a slider for his first strikeout of the game.
Well, with 1 gone, here is Miguel Sano. We saw the 2 categories in which he is leading the Twins: home runs and RBIs. 25 home runs, 71 driven in. Getting on base at a steady 355 clip as well. Bounces away from Nicholas. It's 2-0. So many good young players these days. Sano, 24 years old, out of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. 6'4", 262 pounds. And he's got some real thump in that bat. Cues that one foul. It's 2-1.
And that's why you see a 2-0 changeup from Martin Perez. He knows that Sano is a good fastball hitter. We use that exit velocity number a lot when we start to look at hitters. How hard do they hit the baseball, even though there's a lot of swing and miss in Sano's game. He hits it pretty hard. 3rd highest exit velocity right now in Major League Baseball.
Bouncer up the middle, and that one is through for Sano.
Let's take a look at the Ranger defense, which is delivered to you by DeMontron RV. Joey Gallo in left field tonight. Carlos Gomez, Nomar Mazara in center and right. Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrews, Rougned Odor at second base. Mike Napoli back out at first. And Brett Nicholas getting to start tonight with Martin Perez. We'll see how these guys work together. There he is, 29-year-old catcher. See a little bit of playing time. We dug into this last night as far as what's going to happen between him and Robinson Chirinos. How are they going to kind of divvy up that playing time? It will not be a platoon situation. Of course, Nicholas is a left-handed hitter, so if that were the case, he'd be getting most of the starts. That's not how it's going to go down, Jeff Bannister told us.
Oh, bunt attempt by Mauer, but it goes foul. There's your surprise attack. Mauer, 278 average. You see the on base at 366. Former catcher, never a guy known for his quickness or speed, but saw an opportunity there where he might be able to sneak up on everyone for a bunt hit. And I know it is simply a strike for him. And we're viewing this game through the lens of being the Rangers announcers. But man, every time I see a hitter, middle of the order guy, even flash bunt, just show it.
Yep.
It makes me happy.
It helps.
And I know that the bunt is like, you know, it's the evil opposite to the way the game is going. But I think there might be some value somewhere in there.
Well, especially with the heavy shifts. Now, a couple of things here for Joe Mauer, why this makes perfect sense. He's got a lefty on lefty matchup right now. You see Adrian Beltre, how far off the line he is now. It's 2 strikes, so he's not worried about a bunt in this spot. But you got lefty matchup for Joe Mauer, 232 batting average against lefties, so that's already against his favor. His power is way down. This is not the old Joe Mauer. He's only got 5 home runs this year, so you're not worried necessarily. When you see a guy squaring, right, you know there's 0% chance he's going to hit a home run. Well, that doesn't matter as much with Joe Mauer the way it probably used to. You know, when I think about, you know, we talk about Rougned Odor or Joey Gallo. If I'm pitching against those guys, and even if it's a lefty on left, you know, situation, I'm kind of okay with the bunting as the pitcher and as the defense, because I'm like, you know what, 0% chance that Joey Gallo hits one 500 feet off me in that spot. So if he wants to have his base hit, not that you want it and you're just going to give it to him, but in that kind of spot, sometimes as a defender, you're okay with it.
2-2 pitch. Boy, that one did miss by a whole lot. Full count. And the only thing, though, I mean, you're looking at a lot of batting orders these days. Certainly the Rangers a great example, where everyone in the lineup can hit for power. Every single one of them. So when you give up base hits on bunts, you put a couple of men on. Changes the way a pitcher can go about his business, increasing the odds perhaps that a guy might hit a long ball. And then it's a more valuable home run because there are men on. And it stays full here on Mauer.
I'm with you. And we've seen Rougned Odor do it, not as much as he did a year ago, but he will do it. We've seen some other guys try it as well. First and foremost, they got to be comfortable. That's the big one. If I got one of my big power bats who gets a heavy shift against him and he's just not comfortable bunting, I don't ever want to force it on him, because that'll start to get in your head a little bit and you get down the count. But no, there's value in it. I think it's definitely one way to try to counteract what's going on with the shifts. You see Rugi there. We've seen him lay down a couple of pretty good ones. And timing is everything. You got to pick your spots. The pitcher, what kind of stuff does he have? Is it live? Is he easier to bunt off of? Is he harder to bunt off of? Chris Sale? I think I'm going to pass. Probably trying to bunt against him.
This one popped up, left side foul and out of play. So let me ask you then, you know, a sinker baller like Martin Perez, easier to bunt on, harder to bunt on?
Like Martin, I would think he'd be a little bit tougher to bunt on because he's got pretty good movement. The ball's live coming out of his hand with good velocity. Now, like anybody, you know, he flips you over a breaky ball for a strike. Maybe not his best, just trying to get one in the zone. That's a great time to put one down. That should be a pretty easy pitch. They'll tell you the hardest pitch to bunt is a high fastball. Right? And when you're trying to bunt, the discipline there is never trying to go up. When you square, you're supposed to have your bat at the top of the strike zone. And from that point, you never go up. But you see the ball there, just like when you see a fastball up and you're hitting normally, it looks really easy to do it. So if you're throwing 2-seam fastball, Bartolo Colon, probably not that tough to bunt off of.
8th pitch of this at bat to Mauer, and he'll foul it off to see yet another. Well, a run already in, the Dozier home run. Sano had the base hit with 1 out, and now Mauer locking horns here with Martin Perez. Middle of the infield, setting up for that potential double play. That has long been a real strength both for this Rangers team and for Martin Perez, and a bouncer foul again. So Joe Mauer sees on average almost 4.5 pitches per plate appearance, and that is 7th best in Major League Baseball. He is one of those guys who will put an extended at bat on a guy, and that number goes up just a little bit with this at bat.
We have pitch 10 right now, 9 or 10 coming up next here.
I think this will be number 10. I've seen 9 so far. Check swing, and Mauer will take the walk. They appealed it, but to no avail, and so Mauer is on. And I would think as a pitcher, CJ, maybe you weren't in that position too many times, but that's got to be really exhausting and frustrating.
Very frustrating. I mean, you think about the way the game started. You're making all these great pitches, and there's a really good-looking slider from Martin Perez. He thought he had strike 3. Joe Mauer started to offer at it. He did a good job of holding up. The barrel did not cross in that spot, but that's a good pitch. Almost looked like a strike. So you're right. It is exhausting. You let up a big opposite field home run. You get the strikeout to Escobar. Looked really good there. Sano doesn't hit the ball hard, but he gets a base hit, and then all of a sudden here comes Joe Mauer, forcing you to grind out an at bat, and you feel like you made your pitch, and it gets called a ball, and you're third of an inning into the game with 20 pitches already. So you're right, and that's the value of those guys. Even though the home runs are down for Joe Mauer, those kind of at bats have a lot of value.
So Robbie Grossman. Grossman today batting 5th in the order. Switch hitter, bats right-handed here. Best on base average on this team, you just saw right there, nearly 380. And a guy whose splits are remarkably even. It's 247 against righties, 248 against lefties. I mean, he's a true switch hitter in that regard. He has bounced into 4 double plays this year, and that's what Perez would like as much as anything right now.
Absolutely.
Ahead 0-2.
No doubt about it. Take a look here. 20 so far this season. Second most in the American League. Nobody has induced more ground ball double plays since the beginning of 2016 than Martin Perez. It is an
He's getting ground balls at a better than 49% rate. His career, he's gotten better than 53% ground balls. 2-2, and this one lined over to the right side, fouling out of play. So Grossman now doing some pretty good battle right on the heels of the at bat by Joe Mauer. Some foul balls by Grossman. And this next pitch will be number 26 for Martin Perez. Rangers got 2 in the top of the first. Twins have answered with a run here in the bottom of the first and still going. Nicholas gives the signs. 2-2, and that one bounces away from Nicholas, but nobody running. So no, not a real aggressive guy out there at second base, and Mauer at first base, not exactly fleet of foot either.
A good job here by Nicholas to keep this ball, kind of deaden it a little bit, keep it close by. He does a really good job of getting those knees down, blocking. We call the 5-hole in between his legs. We've seen this now a few times, and you see Sano. Now, the only way you're taking third base in that spot is a really aggressive secondary lead. You have to anticipate things like that. So the secondary lead becomes really important. Looking for a ball in the dirt. Carlos Gomez is great at that. We've seen him do that a lot this year, but Sano not so much in that spot.
Fly ball down the right field line, and that one is a souvenir. Hey, nice catch.
That's right.
Right, some high fives.
Confidence there. You know it. You know I caught that ball.
So now a full count on Grossman. Three-two. Ooh, that ball's hit well down the left field line. Could be trouble. It's gone. Grossman's 7th home run of the year, but that one a 3-run shot. Twins lead it 4-2.
You see some frustration on the face of Martin Perez after this pitch. They wanted to go down and in. You see 94 miles an hour, though, up over the plate. Robbie Grossman gets himself a fastball that he can handle on the 8th pitch of the at-bat. So back-to-back batters, a combined 18 pitches. A walk to Joe Mauer. Now the home run to Grossman, as you see Doug Roquel out to talk to his pitcher and Martin Perez, trying to get it back on track. More often than not, whenever we go back and we look at big hits, we're most likely going to see mislocation. Even on the Dozier home run, ball was on the outer third the way that Martin wanted it, but it was elevated. So it's an elevated fastball for the opposite field home run, an elevated fastball here against Robbie Grossman that also led to the home run. So you look at Martin Perez, only 1 walk so far this inning, but it's command within the zone that has gotten him into a little bit of trouble.
So 4-2 the score. Base is empty now, and Chris Jimenez takes strike 1. Jimenez, another former Ranger. Now with the Twins at average below the Mendoza line at 197. And hits this ball hard off of Beltre's glove and into left field. Jimenez will take the turn. Hard hit ball. Beltre was in position, but couldn't corral it.
Well, you mentioned it was hit pretty hard here off the bat of Jimenez, and see Adrian trying to reach up and catch it. Unfortunately, that ball got by him just a little bit too quickly. So Martin still got some work to do, trying to get himself out of this inning.
So it goes as a base hit for Jimenez. That brings up Eddie Rosario. Well, Rosario, we talked a little bit about his numbers last night. Impossible, it seems, to keep this guy off the bases. He's been on in every single game he has played against the Rangers. Hits this ball into right field. That's a base hit, so that continues. He's played in 16 games. He's been on in every single one. Well, this is a rough go for Martin Perez. Austin Bivens, Dirks getting ready.
Yeah, some frustration here. You think about, okay, yes, there was a couple of home runs. Those balls were hit hard. There's also been some soft contact. The base hit by Miguel Sano was not hit hard. Just found the right spot right back up the middle. That hit right there by Rosario, not hit that hard, but just in the right spot where there was an opening in the infield. And you get these kind of innings, and the frustration grows. The high pitch count, I mentioned it to guys like Joe Mauer, and you're out there, you're battling, you're trying to get yourself going. You're thinking, man, what do I got to do here to get and now get myself that ground ball to get this double play? Because even that last pitch hit to the right guy easily could have been 2 outs.
So Byron Buxton, a speedy center fielder. Been a struggle for him at the plate this year. Batting 8th tonight for Paul Molitor and the Twins. And he takes one off the plate. It is 2-0. Perez in danger of making this a very short night tonight. If he puts Buxton on, well, you wanted the pitch count now at 35. Just how much more rope Jeff Bannister would let him have.
We're already in the uncomfortable zone as far as how many pitches you like letting any pitcher throw in one inning. A lot of organizations at the minor league level will cap that at 30 no matter what's going on. A little bit different here in the big leagues for guys that are established, but still an uncomfortable number for Jeff Bannister to watch Martin Perez as things continue to climb here in the first inning.
Three and one. And there's a strike to Buxton. Did not appear to be a fan of the call.
This one looked to be near the top of the zone. We'll see if that's something that is consistent tonight. See if you're getting that call. We talk about this all the time, especially early on. Pitchers want to get a feel for what those home plate umpires are calling for a strike.
Well, Buxton fights that one off. Count stays full. Thirty-ninth pitch of the inning. First, the pickoff play back at second, and they almost got Jimenez.
Smart play, good thinking by Rougned Odor and Martin Perez. You get yourself in a full count. It's only one out. Start thinking about getting an aggressive secondary lead or just trying to get moving on the base pass. And that is a timing play by those guys. They put it on together. Good execution. Jimenez able to get back in time.
And he loses Buxton, so the walk loads him up. And that is the second walk of the inning. And Bannister and Lancey down there in that dugout.
He certainly is. Now he's giving Martin Perez a chance here. Of course, Martin's been around the big league level for a few years, and so Jeff Bannister showing him that he believes he can get out of this thing. Austin Bivens-Dirks has been throwing for a while down in that Ranger bullpen, so he certainly is ready. But Jeff Bannister would love to see his lefty get out of this inning. He's going to give him every opportunity he can to make it happen.
Hard ground ball, second base. Odor flips to second one. The relay in time for the double play, and the inning is over. The Twins, though, strike back for 4 runs in the bottom of the first. Settle in. It could be a wild one tonight. Joey Gallo, he'll be due up second in the second inning when we return. We've played one inning already as we go to the second. And here comes Mike Napoli to lead things off for the Rangers. Napoli, Gallo, Gomez, 6, 7, and 8 for Texas. And Bartolo Colon, after a long break, goes right in there with strike one to Napoli.
One thing about Bartolo Colon, you watch him, and he's been doing this for a long time. Facial expression, the tempo, the mood, constant. Never changes. You wouldn't know if he's given up 8 runs, just threw a complete game shutout, was sitting for 30 minutes. So yeah, okay. Been there, done that a bunch. Okay, here we go.
Well, he did not look great in the top of the first. I don't know that he looked bad. He gave up some hard hit balls and was down very quickly 2-0. But well, all of a sudden you give a guy 4 runs of this support, and I'm sure that changes things just a little bit now. As Napoli fouls it off, it's 2-2. Not that he lacks confidence, nor should he. A former Cy Young Award winner, Bartolo Colon, back in 2005. The year he went 21 and 8, had a 348 earned run average. While pitching with the Angels, and the 2-2 pitch. Swing, and that one blooped out toward right field. The center fielder Buxton ranging to his left. And that is out number 1. All right, our TXU Energy Power player to watch. And if you had Joey Gallo today, you're a winner. How about this? 8 of his last 13 hits have been home runs.
Joey's really been showing it off as of late. We've seen some long home runs from him as well. You see the shift going on now here. Or at least I do. Sorry about that. There's a shift. But actually one of those where, and I kind of like when they do this, move around a little bit and have your third baseman slide over to the second base position. There's Brian Dozier, so he's playing in between first and second.
Swing and a miss, and just like that, Gallo in a hole 0-2. You're talking about Escobar flopping over to the more traditional second base position now, which allows him to leave Polanco, you know, right where he should be, right where he plays at shortstop. Check swing. And on the appeal, he did not go.
And I think that makes sense. We've talked about these shifts and different angles all of a sudden, and you got one guy on the left side of the infield, so why not go ahead and go with the guy that's got the most range? I think when we were first watching shifts, a lot of times everyone just kind of moved over. It made a little bit more sense. Go ahead and leave the shortstop over there, make that third baseman walk over a little bit further. Take the least amount of people out of their natural position as possible. And that's what you see on the shift.
One out here in the second inning. Colon's 2-2. And a swing and a miss. So Gallo strikes out. 2 away in the second. Well, Rangers fans, we invite you to download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by AT&T and Hyundai.
Keep an eye on that last pitch from Bartolo Colon, a changeup that he used against Joey Gallo. We'll see if he breaks that out a little bit more. He's got 5 lefties to face in this Ranger lineup. When we talk about how much he throws the fastball, that was a pretty good changeup to Joey Gallo, so we may see that a little bit more against the left-handed hitters.
Foul ball by Gomez, and it is 1-1. Gomez in with a .254 average and 14 home runs. Had a hit last night. 1 for 3. In fact, now on a 7-game hitting streak. And pops this one down the right field line. Grossman heading toward that corner, and he'll make the catch to complete the inning. And it is a 1-2-3 for Bartolo Colon. We played 1.5 so far tonight. 4-2 Twins. Nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, wild start to this one. Twins with the 4-2 lead. Way up north in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities. And Martin Perez goes to work in this second inning, hoping for a much different second inning. The first was a tough one, faced 9 hitters. And drops one in there to Dozier. 1-1 the count. Dozier had the home run. A solo shot opposite field to start the bottom of the first, his 18th of the season, and he smacks this one high in the air, deep to left field, and look out! You kidding me? Dozier into the second level of seats, his second home run of the night. It's a 5-2 start for the Twins.
Never fun. You got to face the guy that hit a home run off you in the first inning again in the second inning. Obviously seeing the ball well here off of Martin Perez, somewhat similar to what we saw before. That pitch was up over the plate. The one before was up and maybe outer half, outer third, but still an elevated fastball at 94 miles an hour.
Yikes. So now Eduardo Escobar, and he takes a strike. Boy, Brian Dozier, guy with the 42 home runs last year, and we're seeing that guy again here tonight. Escobar shoots this one out to right, but Mazara is there. One away.
That's interesting too, coming into tonight. Good numbers against lefties for Brian Dozier, hitting .318 against the lefties, just .222 against righties. But of his 17 home runs, only 3 against lefties. Kind of surprising. 14 against righties. So even though he has hit lefties much better this year, he hasn't actually shown very much power. He now has 5 home runs against lefties, but he came into tonight with just 3.
Well, here's Big Miguel Sano. He singled in the first inning. But has 25 homers and 71 RBIs this year. A little late. And the count is 1-1.
He dropped his pad. I mentioned he is 3rd in baseball right now average exit velocity. Number 2, Joey Gallo. Which I know when you say things like that, everyone's like, well, who's number 1? Right? If we're going to tell you number 3 and number 2.
Aaron Judge.
Oh, you're so great, Dave. Right?
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Some of us were sitting here the whole time saying, well, Aaron Judge. Line drive out to left field, and Sano bangs that one off the base of the fence, and he'll go to second with a stand-up double.
Well, 14th double of the year for Miguel Sano, and here's another fastball. Comes back across the plate. Always one of the easiest things to do to get a feel for what's going on and what guys are seeing. Watch that catcher's glove. Brett Nicholas is set up down and away. Martin Perez's fastball has a little bit of that natural cut to it, and when he goes away to that arm side, especially to righties, it can get a little bit dangerous if that ball cuts back over the plate too much. And that's exactly what happened there with Miguel Sano.
So a similar look to this second inning to the one we saw in the first. 4 runs in the first inning for the Twins. Now here is Joe Mauer, and he takes a strike from Perez. This might be the key to this inning right here, this at bat. Last time Mauer put that lengthy 10-pitch at bat on Martin and really kind of set the tone for the inning. A 10-pitch at bat here might just knock him out of the game.
Well, paid some dividends now. The only thing that's interesting is that nobody is up right now in the Ranger bullpen. And so Jeff Bannister, most likely after Austin Bibbins-Dirks had gotten up for a while, is not going to make that phone call, I got to believe, until he knows for sure or starts to feel really confident that he's going to make a change, because Austin was up, threw a decent amount of pitches down there. The big double play to help Martin Perez get out of that inning. And even though we've seen a home run and a double, he's going to wait here a little bit before he gets anybody else up again. I say a little bit, I mean, it could be a hitter, but he hasn't done it yet. A lot of times you would think, okay, so in that situation, we've seen a home run, we've seen a double. After 9 batters came to the plate. In the first inning, wouldn't you have somebody up right away? Well, I got to believe that the reason that Jeff Bannister's holding off right now is he doesn't want to wear Austin Bibbins-Dirks out. Such a tough spot, that long man job. There goes Doug Roquel picking up that phone.
Two balls and a strike on Mauer. And he'll slash that one to the left side. Nice play down there. Always aware in that front row. Pretty decent crowd on a beautiful Friday night here at Target Field. 77 degrees at game time and just a slight breeze, about 10 miles per hour out of the north. Couldn't ask for a whole lot more in August than what we have here tonight. 2-2 pitch, and that one fouled off again. Mauer hitting .278, 5 home runs. Talked about it earlier. Not the same hitter he used to be. Mauer, 34 years old. Big, strong guy, though, 6'5", 225 pounds. Two. Mauer, you look where he stands in franchise history. Of course, born here in the area in St. Paul. I mean, grew up in the area. 1,917 hits, needs one more to take third place all by himself and past Tony Oliva, former Rookie of the Year back here in 1964. There's a swing and another foul ball back behind home plate. Count stays full on Mauer. Noted it earlier, Mauer One of the best in the American League in pitches per plate appearances. He's already seen 300 pitches tonight in 1.5 at bats. Actually, this will be the 18th pitch he has seen in his first 2 times up. Bouncer third base though. Beltre with a good backhand, long throw in time, and they get Mauer 2 away. Tickets for groups of 20 or more start at only $12, and they offer great savings off gate prices. Group pricing is available in 9 different seating areas, plus the all-inclusive Cholula all-you-can-eat seats. Learn more about group savings offered for every Rangers home game at texasrangers.com/groups. That's a big battle won right there for Martin Perez. It was lengthy, but he got it done.
This will be interesting. 57 pitches total right now. If he can get himself out of this, how Jeff Bannister will handle it. Austin Bibbins is now up again in that bullpen. So second time he's up in 2 innings. Now Martin got the second out. If he gets the third, you really get put in a tough spot here as a manager as far as how you handle your bullpen. Could Martin settle down and knock out a couple of more innings for you? Maybe get your 4 or 5 would be great. Might be asking a lot, but if he can get Grossman out here.
Ground ball, and Andrus, not a ground ball, a low liner that he catches just inches off the ground, and Grossman retired. So the Twins get another run on the homer by Dozier. We go to the 3rd. Twins by 3.
Ready to take the plate, and of course this is only his 2nd start of the season with the Rangers, but the familiarity is there with the players and the team. He had a couple starts last year. He told me he's been around this club, but the one guy that has been a huge help is Robinson Chirinos. He's given him several different tips on things, really allowed him, he said, to take his game to the next level, guys.
That's hugely helpful, no doubt about it. You think about leaning on your teammates, especially the guys that have a history. Robinson Chirinos is certainly one of those guys, and he's willing to, right? That's the other part. You know that he's a grinder, a guy that digs in, does his homework great when it comes to the preparation. You see the communication even throughout the game, whether it be the signs that we see from him, the body language, always working with his pitchers. Anytime you can have a guy who has done it successfully at the big league level and is willing to share it, cares about his teammates, Robinson Chirinos, definitely that guy. So smarter Brett Nicholas to lean on him.
Nicholas lifts this one out to left field. Rosario with a long run, and he can't get to it. So Nicholas, with a great start to this 3rd inning, cruises to 2nd. Stand-up double. And there you go, his first hit of the year with the Rangers.
A nice job here at inside out on this ball. It's a two-seam fastball. It stayed in the middle of the plate, but instead of getting pull happy, he keeps the hands in. Does a nice job driving that ball to left center field.
So a 5-2 game, but Nicholas out there in scoring position. Beautiful setting for baseball up here in Minnesota. Target field. As Chu takes a high strike from Bartolo Colon.
Even though that was 87 miles an hour, I see the movement on that pitch, and it was elevated, not exactly where he wanted it, but Bartolo Colon still has really good finish on the fastball, good late movement.
Checks Nicholas. Chu lofts one out to center. Buxton underneath it, and he's got a good arm, and Nicholas will stay put. So one away. Time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's check in for the first time tonight with Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. And of course, that's one of those National League matchups one could certainly envision being a key one at some point in October. A couple of teams expected to advance to the postseason as Elvis Andrus takes a strike here from Colon.
A big day there from Daniel Murphy, one that was much needed. He'd really been struggling as of late, and even though they seem like they're going to get ready to go on cruise control here to win themselves the National League East. Always like to see some of your important pieces working out of slumps. Daniel Murphy might have kicked that off today.
Andrus gets a piece of that one in the count 0-2. Elvis had the double in the first inning. Eventually scored on Beltre's two-run single. That's the Rangers' offense so far. Rangers with a couple of runs on 4 hits. Colon looked a little vulnerable in the early moments of that first inning, but has since settled in just a little bit. The 44-year-old right-hander. He's a fan favorite. He's a favorite among players. And he's a guy who doesn't have any interest, I mean, not the slightest bit of interest in retirement. This one is off the plate. A check swing, and Andrus did not go. 2-2 the count.
And keeps grinding, keeps getting it done. At 44 years old, you'll see this slider here from Bartolo Colon that finishes off the plate. It did appear that Elvis Andrus held the swing up. Yeah.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
I do like the pointing.
Yeah.
I always love the pointing in that. He did it.
Straight tattletaling.
Totally.
What it is. Nobody likes a tattletale.
Jimenez, the one who was doing the pointing, former teammates with Elvis Andrus, and this one turned foul.
You mentioned, having some opportunities early on. 3 hits in that first inning for the Rangers, a double and a couple of singles, and another double already now here in the 3rd inning. Bartolo Colon has a very low strikeout rate, but he's also got an extremely low walk rate. He has never had an issue. You look over the course of his career when it comes to walks. 2.5 walks per 9 innings. That's his average over those 20 seasons. 525 games, 516 of those are starts. He fills up the strike zone very consistently.
Well, he strikes out Andrus here, his 2nd strikeout of the night, and they're now 2 away in the 3rd.
You see the reaction from Elvis Andrus, almost angry that he didn't get a fastball. This is a changeup from Bartolo Colon, and I mentioned, and we showed it, 83% of the time you're going to see, 84% of the time you're going to see a fastball. I was sitting, you did not just throw me a 3-2 changeup.
How dare you?
He did. And both of the strikeouts so far tonight for Bartolo Colon have come on the changeup. The one to Joey Gallo, and then that one right there to Elvis Andrus.
So 2 gone for Nomar Mazara. Nomar, half the age of Bartolo Colon. And he takes a strike. 22 years old against the 44-year-old. Colon, not the oldest to pitch for the Twins. Jesse Orosco was 46 years old when he pitched here in 2003. This ball hammered into right field. That's a base hit and up against the wall. Nicholas scores easily. Mazara will be satisfied with the RBI single. And he makes it a 5-3 game.
Nomar Mazara got penalized for hitting this baseball too hard. I thought that was going to be an easy double off the bat, but it got to the outfield too quickly. He made a smart play. Not surprising, a fastball, and Bartolo Colon hit his location. That is exactly where he wanted it. So good on Nomar Mazara for getting those hands in on that inside fastball. Watch it bounce off the wall too. That also hurt Nomar. But a great at bat against a good right-hander. That was a well-located 2-seam fastball.
So now here is Adrian Beltre, and he hits one on the ground to third. Sano backing up. He'll go to second, and they force out Mazara. That ends the inning. The Rangers will get a run back. And we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's a 5-3 Twins lead. The early portion of this game so far, 5-3. As we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning and taking a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. Still 2 more games in this series. Tomorrow we'll get started an hour earlier. Our pregame coverage here on Fox Sports Southwest starting at 5:30. Game time 6. Day game on Sunday. And after enjoying an off day Monday in New York, 2 against the Mets beginning Tuesday night. Bouncer on the first pitch to shortstop. Andrews checks the label, throws it over to first, and that is 1 pitch, 1 out for Martin Perez. And whew, that's a much more pleasant way to start an inning.
Yeah, that's good to see. And Jeff Bannister obviously deciding to give Martin Perez another opportunity, see if he can kind of eat up a couple of innings. Whenever you get the pitch count this high this quickly, as a starting pitcher, it becomes, you know what, okay, it hasn't been there yet so far those first couple innings, but this is still a close game. It's a 5-3 ball game, and you sit there and you start to get into basically battle mode. And how can you figure this out? Okay, everything is not feeling perfect, but can you still fight your way a little bit deeper in this game, try to save that bullpen a little bit while also keeping your team in the game? That's Martin Perez's mission right now.
He gave up 4 runs in the first inning, a run in the second. A good breaking ball in there to Rosario. It's 1-1.
Take a peek at this slider from Martin. You're absolutely right. Perfectly located down and away.
Bouncer first base. Napoli has it. 2 gone in the 3rd inning. Hey, head out to the ballpark for Star Wars weekend. The first 15,000 fans to the ballpark on Saturday, September 2nd. We'll get a Rangers Star Wars bobblehead courtesy of Globe Life Insurance. Rangers taking on the Angels, a 6:15 game. And you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. So, Rangers Star Wars bobblehead on Saturday. We'll have fireworks on Friday set to the Star Wars soundtrack. Should be a fun weekend as Martin Perez goes to work against Byron Buxton. Buxton, the guy you want to focus on keeping off the bases. And he bounces this one third base. Beltre was in. He has it. And takes care of Buxton. It's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 3rd for Martin Perez. Gets over a critical hump and takes us to the 4th. Two-run game as we go to the top of the 4th inning. And tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. And Bartolo Colon, the ageless one. 7 current Rangers who were 5 years or younger when Colon made his debut in 1997, including that guy right there, Rougned Odor. First pitch off the plate.
Always fascinating when we start to see the young players that are breaking in. There was a kid from the Braves, was born in 1997. That they just called up. It's incredible to see. You know, when you're an older player, it usually bugs you. I don't think Bartolo Colon cares at all.
Oh.
But I remember, like, you know, you're just like, oh yeah. My last year I played, I tried to make a comeback in 2012 as a sidearm lefty. Had been in Asia for a few years, hadn't played in the States. And so the Mets put me in Double-A. I hadn't been in Double-A since 1995. So throw there for a little bit. If it goes well, we'll throw you in Triple-A, see what happens. I get there, and one of the guys comes up to me and he goes, I was 39 years old at the time. He goes, man, before you got here, I was the oldest player on the team. I said, how old are you? He said, 28.
Odor lifts one relatively deep left field. But room out there for Rosario. One away in the 4th inning.
He said it in the nicest way possible.
So you had him by 11 years.
Yeah, but it didn't feel very nice. Jeff Stevens actually scouting him, former Cub, pitched in the big leagues, but yeah, he is now a scout. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, wow. But you take it in stride. I mean, you know you're old. It's not a secret. You feel it every single day.
Well, one gone here in the 4th inning. And Napoli steps in and pops this one up. Short right field. Long run coming in for Grossman, and he snow-coned it. And that is out number 2. That thing just about squeezed out of the end of his mitt.
No reaction there. We got to smile a little bit when this happens as you see this high fly ball, and it's just kind of dying and fading, and he gets there just at the end. But yeah, it goes from the heel to the tip. As you see Grossman calling it right there. You see how it goes. Actually, even in the middle, and almost bounced out.
Oh.
But probably not even realizing it at that moment. He's thinking he caught it clean, and fortunately, he was able to hold on to it. Unfortunately. I say fortunately because I meant unfortunately.
You meant unfortunately.
That's what I meant. I'm not happy that he caught that ball. Let's be clear.
2 away. Calm down. Here's Joey Gallo.
I'm just trying to save my Twitter feed.
I know.
Oh, you're a Twins fan now, are you?
Gallo struck out of the 2nd. 0 for 1 tonight. That strikeout number 135 on the year for Joey. Colon gets him to foul this one back. The count quickly 0-2. Well, Rangers got a couple in the 1st. They added a run in the 3rd inning. So they have, by and large, kept a little bit of pressure on Bartolo Colon in these first handful of innings. Not much has come real easily these days for Colon. This ball hit on the ground and into right field. That's a base hit, so Gallo is aboard, and the inning continues.
Take a look at the Joey Gallo swing, one that has been locked in here as of late. Almost disappointing when he gets a base hit, but there's this front door 2-seam fastball, very similar to what we saw to Nomar Mazara. Bartolo Colon is always throwing those fastballs with good movement on them. That one caught a little bit more of the plate, though, than the Nomar Mazara one, and Nomar hit a very good pitch. That's the thing, too, right? Remember we talked about this last time, the conversations that happen? Sure, Bartolo Colon's been around a long time, but Nomar Mazara and Joey Gallo have not. And so a couple left-handed hitters say, hey, what'd you see? Hey, tried to go front door on the 2-seam fastball, and we talked about in our meetings, and yes, he'll do that. So I'd be ready for that inside pitch, and Joey Gallo was.
He's on, and he's drawn the attention of Bartolo Colon. We talked about it a little bit last night. Gallo can run. 6 steals this year in 6 tries, and opponents have run on Colon this year. Gomez fouls that one off for strike 1.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue for him. A few stolen bases. You know, we'd like to say Joey Gallo's actually 7 for 7. I mean, he stole a base really cleanly last night, but
sure did.
Got called back because the ball nicked Robinson Chirinos. We gave him a stolen base.
Well, I still like to credit him with that stolen base unofficially.
Yeah, he did all the work.
Yes,
got the result.
Just doesn't get any actual real credit for it.
Ricky Henderson safe for another day.
Yeah. Decent lead. Colon, keep an eye on him. Gomez bounces this one to shortstop. Polanco to first in time, and that completes the inning. So no runs. A Rangers hit, and they leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 5-3 Twins.
tenths.
What do you mean a 9/10?
That's not a full piece, is it?
That is not a full piece, no.
Yeah, 9/10.
I got you. I see. It's a spectacular shot of the moon. You know, I understand there's going to be an eclipse.
That's right.
You heard anything about this thing?
I've heard a little bit about it. I've heard about some of those great spots. I saw basically a line that looked like it went from, I don't know, maybe Portland all the way to somewhere in North Carolina. That kind of line through the country. The best place to watch that solar eclipse.
Gehring, Nebraska.
That was the other city I was thinking of.
That's going to be the best place to see it. Oregon Trail days are over, but you can still get out there and enjoy some of the town before the eclipse. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Perez gets this one right off the end of the bat and will underhand to first in time. That takes care of Polanco. It is time for our Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. About the Royals, 32 come from behind wins this year, most in the American League. Currently holding that second wild card. Corey Kluber has been about as good as you can be since the All-Star break for Cleveland, 2-0 with 49 strikeouts in 4 starts. And Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 home runs tonight. He has 35 of them. Now has the major league lead, so he overtakes Aaron Judge.
It's kind of fun to watch those two guys go back and forth.
You ever seen the two of them in the same room?
I saw them on TV for the
Okay, I'm just saying.
All-Star break, or All-Star home run derby.
2 massive dudes who hit big-time home runs. It's fun to watch them. Well, 1 out, top of the order. And Brian Dozier, who's 2 for 2 with 2 home runs. He's hit 1 to right, he's hit 1 to left.
Martin's done a nice job getting ahead here. 0-2. Never fun. Guy's taking you deep twice. You got to face him that 3rd time here so early in the game. But revenge right now on the mind of Martin Perez.
Thought he might get Dozier to chase that curveball, but 1-2 the count. Bounces another one. We do spend a little bit of time talking about the power at second base. I feel like we've done this the last couple of series, but there you go. Dozier at 19, 3rd most. Odor leading major league second baseman. He and Jonathan Scope both with 24 of them.
Those are all teams that we've just seen, right?
Yeah.
The Baltimore Orioles we just saw, the Seattle Mariners, Robinson Cano, and now Brian Dozier. So we're seeing some of the best second baseman in the game. Let's take a look at these home runs that Brian Dozier has hit tonight. We'll go back to the 1st inning. A fastball a little bit elevated here. It was away on the corner, but up higher than Martin Perez wanted to throw it. So Brian Dozier goes opposite field. Then they try to go in, but this fastball at 94 miles an hour ended up splitting the plate, also elevated. And so Brian Dozier got a couple of good pitches to handle, and he did exactly that. So now Martin's going to battle him here. Got ahead 0-2, and Brian Dozier's fouled a couple of balls off.
Last year, a huge year for Dozier. And he hits this ball sharply on the ground. Odor is there and throws it over to first. Dozier retired, 2 away. Bring up Eduardo Escobar. You know, Dozier last year when he hit those 42 home runs, and I can't remember who it was who gave him the advice. It was just funny because I think it was last night you were talking about the golf advice you got from Al Kaline. Dozier said, attributed his home run surge last year to advice he got on the golf course. He said, you know, he'd been golfing a little bit, and somebody finally taught him how to stabilize and use the power of the lower body to improve his golf game. And he took it to baseball and turned it into his biggest power year ever. There's a fly ball by Escobar into short left field, ends the inning. And it's
But how were the
1-2
drives off the tee? That's what everybody really wants to know. Did they get better too?
Oh, he was very good. Or so I'm told. We go to the 5th inning, 5-3.
Score of 5-3. And the Rangers are celebrating faith and family on Sunday, August 20th. Come early for a pregame testimonial from David Murphy and stay for the postgame concert from Christian recording artist David Crowder. That'll be presented by Buckner International. Get your tickets at texasrangers.com/concerts.
Bartolo Colon back to work here in the 5th inning. He has settled in to do a nice job. Brett Nicholas doubled off him in the 3rd. Eventually came around to score the Rangers' 3rd run. And Big Bart rushes that one by him to count 0-2. Colon, now this is his 10th major league organization, 10th big league club with which he has pitched in the big leagues. And when he finally made a start here, Target Field became the 45th ballpark in which he has pitched a major league game. That's kind of amazing. You think of the Metrodome here. He started 11 games at the Metrodome. And now pitching here is this one swung on and lifted out into short center field. Buxton is there, one away.
So I guess you have to make the assumption that you said 44, right?
This
so
is 45th now.
Or 45th. So there's 15 basically teams that he has pitched against, ballparks whether against or for, that have since changed their ballpark.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. I don't think anybody's gotten 3 in that time in his career where they had 3 different ballparks, right? Unless they count any of those. I doubt they count, like, the Puerto Rican series and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm sure it's only big league ballparks, but that is pretty amazing.
First pitch, and Chu slashes it foul out of play.
Think about 2
Strike one.
2 in Pittsburgh, 2 in Cincinnati. You go through all the new ballparks. 2 in Atlanta now, of course. He was a member of the Atlanta Braves. San Diego, San Francisco.
Chu hits it on the ground. Polanco positioned well, and there are 2 gone. Elvis Andrus coming up in the 5th inning here. And for more on Andrus, let's check in with Leslie McCaslin.
Well, guys, we've talked about the fact that Andrus has had a career-high 15 home runs this season. His tricks, he changes bats mid-game. That's our State Farm winning combination, his 2 bats, a Zinger and a Victus. He goes with the Zinger for the first 2. It's a lighter bat when he's not feeling 100% yet, he told me. Then for his next 2 at-bats, he goes with this one, this Victus. It's kind of that cherry finish, that red bat. He likes it, he says, when his swing gets better during the game.
Now that's interesting, the process. First of all, the fact that he uses 2 different bats and it's pretty consistent. That's pretty interesting. You'll see the one that he used here. That's the Zinger, and he uses early on. It is quite the Zinger, but then that he goes to the darker one there. But I would think it'd be the other way around: lighter bat earlier, or excuse me, heavy bat earlier, lighter bat later.
Was you getting tired?
Sure, because guys will do that during the season. Right? I mean, these things are cut to such precision that they may knock off a half an ounce or an ounce as they start to get later in the season with their bat orders. But Elvis, kind of interesting. And that heavier bat, no doubt, probably lead. I'd be curious to break the breakdown of the homers. That heavier bat, you square the ball up, it's going to jump off a little bit better.
2-strike pitch, and he shoots this one out toward right field. Grossman on the run, he can't get to it. Lands in the corner, and Andrus heads to second with a 2-out double.
That's probably just, fly out to right with the lighter bat.
Yeah. The Zinger, that's just it's an inning ender.
This is really such a nice approach. Here's a ball that's away out on the outer third of the plate, elevated a little bit, very similar to the way we talked about Brian Dozier's home run pitch. But, I asked Jeff Bannister about it today because we talked about it last night. I said, it's pretty amazing that he's got 15 home runs, career high in home runs, but he's not getting big with his swing. Right? I mean, that's what you would almost expect. You would expect a guy to try to get pull happen. He said, you're absolutely right. He said, not really. The 2 base hits last night were a good example, hitting the ball hard at the middle, and then that at bat right there. In a situation where the Rangers are down, maybe just go ahead, put 1 run on the board, try to get a big swing in there. No, he's still having that nice, consistent approach. The ball's away. I'm going to try to hit it away and drive it away, not just try to start hitting home runs because he's showing a career best year when it comes to his power. So very impressive to watch him do that. He did say once in a while, you will see that leg kick get a little higher where he might be trying to jump ship, but who doesn't do that throughout the year? He said it hasn't been an issue where he's overdone it and all of a sudden thinks he's some kind of home run hitter.
No, and he's been candid about it too in interviews, talking about I don't know where the home run power is coming from or why necessarily. I'm not trying. You know, he too has talked a little bit about, you know, engaging the lower body a little better, going back to last year, and how he felt like he finally just clicked. He understood what it meant and understood how to do it. Keep that load in the back and then shift that weight forward during the swing, and it was getting more power out of it and has carried it into this year nicely. And it is now 2-1 to Nomar Mazara, who last time drove in a run with that single to right field. Right now another base hit would get the Rangers to within a run if he can get Andrews home. .61 pitches so far tonight for Bartolo Colon. He goes 3-1 to Mazara with Beltre waiting on deck. Beltre, who has good career numbers against Colon, including his best power numbers, best home run numbers he has against any pitcher. .31. And that's ball 4. So Mazara is aboard. 2 runners out there now for Beltre. This is definitely how the Rangers like this one to line up.
The rare walk that we see there from Bartolo Colon. He actually went to the 3-1 changeup that he tried to get away to Nomar Mazara. We mentioned, of course, that's how he got the Elvis Andrews strikeout, the Gallo strikeout on that changeup. But he misses away, and that's his first walk of the night.
So Colon with Andrus at second, Mazara at first. Beltre 1 for 2 tonight, and we'll look back at second, but Andrus back in there easily. Talking about Colon maybe outplaying certain ballparks, seeing multiple parks for so many organizations. How about this? He was, you know, he pitched for the Expos. I mean, he is the last active player who pitched for a franchise that is no longer there. Pitched for the Expos in 2002. So there's one, right? So he pitched in Montreal, then they moved to DC where they played at RFK, and now in their new ballpark. So that's 3 stadiums with that franchise, even though it changed locations. Buznitz getting ready out of the bullpen for the Twins. Pitch on the way to Beltre, and that one a little bit in. Adrian, 6 career home runs against Colon. .1-0. And that one just off the inside corner. He's not missing by much here.
Well, he's not, and he usually doesn't. That pitch at 86 miles an hour, and so we're starting to see that velocity drop a little bit here for Bartolo Colon in the 5th inning.
Well, the potential tying runs are out there for the Rangers. 2 outs in this 5th inning. A very good count for Beltre. He lashes that one foul. Twins manager Paul Molitor, he's now in his 3rd year managing Minnesota. There he is, a great Hall of Famer. over 3,300 career hits. He was 2 for 8 with a strikeout in his career against Bartolo Colon. How about that? 2-1. And this ball fouled off. Are you kidding me? So Paul Molitor, I mean, one of the all-time greats. In fact, Major League Baseball's all-time team. Remember that in 1999 at the All-Star game in Boston? And yeah, he is an all-timer. Hall of Famer in 04. World Series MVP.
His last year was 1998. It was a while ago, but it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
No,
of course,
it doesn't.
It was Adrian Beltre's rookie year.
2-2. And this one served out toward right field. Grossman coming on, and he goes into a slide to make the catch. And he just saved Big Bart some runs right there. Robbie Grossman, really decent play to win the inning.
He got a good jump on this ball, and he played it perfectly. Caught in between a little bit on the slider, whether he wanted to try to catch that on the run. He went with the slide.
Settled in, and a hat tip from Martin Perez. He's gotten himself into this 5th inning now, and it did not look certain, especially in the 2nd inning, that he was going to be able to get to this point, and he will face the heart of the order. Sano, Mauer, and Grossman, 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
That's encouraging to see Martin Perez really bounce back. We watched that 1st inning in which he threw 40 pitches, and you really started to get concerned. And then even in the 2nd, 19 more. So we had 59 pitches through 2 innings, but the 3rd and the 4th went really well, and hopefully the 5th will be the same.
Harmless chopper to 3rd base. Beltre throws him out. Sano retired, and there's one away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Dana Larson. Yeah, thanks, Dana. A lot of fun stuff going on right now, and you know, there's so many teams making things interesting for so many different reasons, and it's fun when you come through a town like Minneapolis here and talk to folks, you know, with this Twins organization, and where do they feel they are, how do they feel they stack up in the wild card or the division, or how are they building going forward. Listen, man, any team right now could go on a nice little run, 6, 7, 8 wins, and it's a totally different picture as Perez gets a piece of Mauer and puts him on for free in this 5th inning.
No, I think that's kind of what you're watching too. Is will there be a team that could go on that run? as everyone's kind of bunched up together. Still plenty of time for that to happen.
This is one of the fun places to stop into. Such a beautiful ballpark, but I always get a chuckle out of talking to Dan Gladden on the radio side, and Jack Morris is here. You and I have worked with Jack for many years, going back to Major League Baseball, and they were both. It was interesting because both of them today were like, "Hey, looking at this Rangers team, man, that's a good team." And their questions, of course, come at you fast and furious about, well, why isn't the record a little better? What's going on? What are you seeing? But that it's a common opinion when we go into visiting towns. They look at this team and they say they're pretty good. And there's Danny, the Dazzle Man. He's a trip.
No doubt about it. And could you see the pieces and you see the power,
Yeah.
right? And you're saying there's some good players on this team, and you're absolutely right. There are. Now we kind of go through the season and what happened, some bullpen issues early on, and maybe it seemed like the timing wasn't right there for a while, where the offense was on and the pitching wasn't, and then it would be vice versa. And of course, injuries, big ones. Adrian Beltre, Cole Hamels, AJ Griffin, who was just activated. That certainly has been part of the issue. But I think it's encouraging too. We know we see the team every day, but when outsiders say those kinds of things, it makes you realize, you know what? I can't imagine this team ever goes into any kind of rebuild. A couple of pieces from a quick turnaround. We'll see what happens the rest of this season, but then also looking beyond 2017. Might not take much at all to get the Rangers competing again.
Grossman hits this ball hard out to the gap right center field. Mauer around second, heads to third. They'll stop him there, but that is a double for Grossman. And just like that, the Twins have set up shop here in the 5th inning.
We saw Robbie Grossman hit a home run in the 1st inning where he pulled it. Here's a pitch that is away. Catches the outer third at 92. Pretty well located. It's just that natural cut, I think, that got Martin Perez in a little bit of trouble. It's a good at-bat. Driving the ball the other way. Carlos Gomez, by the way, came up and made a really nice throw. And Elvis Andrus tried to sell it as if there wasn't going to be a play, but Grossman slides ahead of the tag just in time.
So now a big at bat. Chris Jimenez 1 for 2. Second and third, only one out here, and Perez will step off the rubber for a moment, and that brings his catcher Brett Nicholas out. Tony Barnett getting ready out there just in case. Rangers bullpen lately has done a really good job. Doug Brocail out there giving his words of advice. Martin Perez obviously with some thoughts of his own, so interesting conversation. Look at the pitches by inning. Holy first inning, Batman.
Yep, the first two, 59 when it was all said and done, but Martin did an excellent job bouncing back in the 3rd and the 4th. He's going to battle here and see if he can find a way to get himself through this 5th. Now, part of that conversation for Doug Brocail is also giving Tony Barnett a little bit of time, because if there were a base hit here and 1 or 2 runs come across, you probably want to get a bullpen arm in there as quickly as possible. But Tony did not get up until that double was hit.
Infield in on the right side. On the left side, Beltre a little behind the baseline. Andrus as well. On the right side, you see everybody up. I'm going to try and cut down Mauer at the plate. Not a great runner, but it's 2-0 on Jimenez. Perez to the plate, 2-0, and a backdoor strike to Jimenez.
A good changeup located away, and a fastball count, 2-0 count. You know, although Martin got the strike there, and that's certainly a good thing. You throw that pitch, you're trying to get a hitter out front, maybe get that infield pop up, or get him to hit something weak to one of the infielders that are playing in.
Oh, good. Right down there at the bottom of the strike zone, 2-2. A couple of quality pitches from Martin Perez. A strikeout here would be a big lift for him. With Eddie Rosario waiting on deck. He goes up and after that one, strike 3. And Jimenez, a strikeout victim for out number 2.
No reaction there with first base open from Jimenez, and I believe he convinced himself that he foul tipped his ball, but that was not the call. Elevated fastball, and it certainly did not appear that he tipped that at all. It just bounced out of the glove of Brett Nicholas. We'll get a look here from the side. It's just an elevated fastball. No foul tip.
So that is a huge out for Martin Perez. And now Eddie Rosario, who's 1 for 2, had the base hit in the first, grounded out in the 3rd inning. 5-3 Minnesota, but they've got Mauer at 3rd, Grossman at 2nd base. Oh, that one sweeps across the plate, but apparently a little bit low. Rosario came in at 285 for the year. Gets ahead here 2-0. We mentioned earlier when he came up in the 1st inning that he's hit in every single game he's played against the Rangers. Then he promptly delivered a single to right field. One of those guys, for whatever reason, Rangers have had a real tough time keeping him off the bases. The last 7 games now, including tonight, 14 for 27. He fouls that one away. It's 2-1.
Interesting here is Nicholas will come out. Almost Elvis Andrus looked like he wanted to talk here a little bit about what the plan was. You get shortstops that really dig, and they got a great view of pitchers, hitters, and they start to pick up on tendencies. You're already talking about Rosario and the damage that he has done over the course of his career against the Rangers. Well, Elvis Andrus has had a front row seat to that damage and knows what has worked and what hasn't. I wanted to share an idea there with Martin Perez.
2-1. And this one blooped over short, drops in, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Grossman. He slides in there safely. The throw gets away to the backstop. Rosario will walk to 2nd. It's a 2-run single, and the error moves him into scoring position. Minnesota leads it 7-3.
Now, tough break for Martin Perez, who almost got out of this 5th inning with no damage. He goes in with the fastball and even elevated. You see Rosario clearing those hands just enough to hit this ball into the outfield. And then Martin in this spot supposed to be behind home plate, backing up. He gets caught in between and then can't field it cleanly. That results in an error, which allows Rosario to go down to 2nd base.
And it also spells the end of the night for Martin Perez. He'll leave the responsible man for Rosario at 2nd base. And Tony Barnett coming in out of the bullpen. On the base hit by Eddie Rosario. He moved up on the error charge to Martin Perez. Our Kubota power stats. Tony Barnett checks in here. How about this Rangers bullpen? Last 7 games, an ERA sub 2. Quite the turnaround from the previous week and change. I just feel like there's been an ongoing stabilizing of this pen now for certainly a lot longer than the last week.
Yeah, it's certainly gotten a lot better here in Texas with the bullpen. I think the roles have been a little bit more defined. Guys have been throwing the ball much better here as of late, even though there's no set closer. As a group, collectively, they have done a really nice job. Take a look here at the arsenal for Tony Barnett. You're going to see a lot of cutters, 46% of the time. The fastball averaging 93. The curveball, he'll use it as well. That split finger, I think we've seen a little bit more of that at 6% on the year, but over his last couple of outings, there's been some increased usage. And Tony's been very good over his last 6 games, 10 2/3 innings, 17 strikeouts for him to just 2 walks, and one of those was intentional. So really, 17 strikeouts to 1 walk for him over his last 10.2 innings. He's thrown the ball extremely well here as of late.
Certainly, we're seeing too an increasing tendency to use guys like Barnett and others for extended relief outings, several innings at a time. Sometimes, as that one pumped into Buxton, it's 2-1.
Now you're right. After those, over those last 6 games, 4 of them have been more than an inning, and he had a couple that were more than 2, and then he had a 3-inning outing. That was a good one for him. He struck out 6 batters in 3 innings of work against the Baltimore Orioles at home back on July 29th.
Foul tip by Buxton, and the count 2-2, or 2 away here.
I asked Tony today if he was aware of how strong he'd been in July last year, and then again this year, if there was something to it. Is there just a month where you feel pretty good? It's actually not really. He said, I'm usually a guy who starts off strong, and every once in a while maybe I'll run into some bumps in the road later in the year. And then he asked, is there any way I can just get people to only focus on my Julys? I said, we all wish that. We all wish we could pick out a month where we know we're always been good. Hey, ignore that other stuff. Ignore the couple of bad ones you had along the way. Look at this. But he's been throwing the ball really well. It's good to see Tony, one of the many arms down in that Ranger bullpen that have been strong as of late.
Well, 2 runs in this inning. Rosario out there at second base with 2 away. And a full count pitch to Byron Buxton on the way. And he swings and misses, strike 3. So Barnett gets the strikeout to end the 5th inning. But those are big 2 runs for the Twins. They now lead by 4. Brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Our jackpot tonight, $200 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. The Rangers are hitting for Sherry Wadsworth. Mesquite. So if a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Sherry will win $200. If they can hit a grand slam, she'll win an additional $25,000. Good luck, Sherry. Here we go, 6th inning.
Not if, when.
Very well. Odor leads off the inning and lifts this one high in the air out to left field. Rosario waiting, one away. Well, here we are in the 6th inning with Bartolo Colon still out there working. And he has done a nice job after he was finding a lot of bats in that 1st inning. He has managed to keep that pitch count in check. And by the looks of things, wouldn't be anywhere near the finish line tonight. We said earlier there were 7 Rangers 5 years or younger when Bartolo made his debut. There are 5 Twins who were under 5 years old when he made his debut. So a total of 12 guys. That's like it's half an active roster.
Pretty unbelievable when you start looking at the age and comparing really to what's going on the active rosters right now. By the way, that last pitch, 86 miles an hour, but perfectly painted down and away. Backdoor 2-seam fastball came back off the corner. That is how Bartolo Colon has done. He used to obviously throw a lot harder in his younger years. The command becomes so important though with him at this point, and when it is on, he can really start to get in a roll.
High fly ball by Napoli down that left field line in foul ground, and Rosario, the man who got himself in the right position, and there are 2 away. Well, be one of the first 10,000 fans to the ballpark on Sunday, August 13th, and you can take home a Rangers talking alarm clock, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brookshire's. Rangers and Astros in a 2:05 game. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. And then the voice of Chuck Morgan can wake you up every day with "Wake Up!" It's baseball time in Texas.
You see now here 2 outs in the 6th inning for Bartolo Colon. This is his 17th start of the season. Those first 16 starts, only 4 times has he completed 6 or more innings. He came into this one with just 3 quality starts on the year out of those 16. That's because he just has not been able to get very deep in games. But if he can get this out, this will be the 5th time, maybe near the end here for Bartolo Colon, that he has gone 6 innings or more on the season. That's it.
2-strike pitch, and he strikes out Gallo to win the 6th inning. Bartolo Colon on just 76 pitches tonight takes us to the bottom of the 6th inning.
bottom of the 6th as we welcome you back to Target Field. Well, of course, there have been a lot of questions about the starting rotation since the Rangers traded away Yu Darvish, and Jeff Bannister answered some of those, saying right now it's a 5-man rotation, but with 2 days off coming up this week, that could change. They have one in New York on Monday, one at home on Thursday. Of course, tonight was Perez, Hamels tomorrow, and then Nick Martinez. But going forward, he said it's possible they could use just a 4-man rotation. Basically, they'll adjust according to the schedule, guys.
Yep, there is some flexibility out there. Certainly the next week and change anyway. So we shall see. A lot of that depends on performance and responsiveness of some of these arms as Jorge Polanco leads off this 6th inning.
Well, that's how the season started, right? We went with a 4-man rotation because there were so many off days in there, and whenever you get those opportunities in the schedule, you at least think about it, depending on where the team is, how the guys are throwing, and we'll see how Jeff Bannister ultimately decides to handle it.
Some talk too today with Benny about maybe an off day in the future for Elvis Andrus, who it's been a while. He could use a little break, perhaps. That's the thinking. But then he pointed out, I mean, we got all these off days coming up. I mean, it's especially when you have 2 of them in the span of 4 days. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of that starts with talk about Drew Robinson and the future for him, and that was a big conversation today. With those 2 days, it's funny, rains or pours, or is it when it rains it pours? What happens? What happens?
It rains, it pours,
so
right?
what happens when it rains, though?
It pours.
That's when it pours.
That's right. No other time is it actually possible
Pouring?
to pour unless it's raining.
Then it's more like a drought on the other side.
That's right, and that's kind of how the schedule is, right? 2 off days in 4 days, and that's what those 2-game series do to you sometimes with the Mets, and that's a 2-game series that's coming up.
Polanco pops this one up left side, and Beltre is there. 1 away.
And then there's not going to be an off day for another 14, 17 more games after that. So you go 17 straight after the fact. That's kind of how it goes in the big ones.
Yeah, thank you, because that's the point I was trying to make when I got a little tied up in the raining.
Feast or famine might be the better way to go.
Another good one.
That's what we talk about with
Simple.
relievers. Feast or famine in the bullpen so often, where guys are pitching a lot, and you're going through the bullpen, and guys are looking around going, man, who's available today? And I need an off day. And then all of a sudden your starters start going on a roll, and they're throwing 7 innings a night, and you feel like you haven't pitched in a week. And
guys are rusty because they haven't had
oh
an
yeah,
opportunity
I'm
to
dying to
pitch.
get in there, man. And just the way it goes. That is the life of a reliever.
Ooh, high strike called on Dozier. 1-1 the count. 1 away. Bottom of the 6th. 7-3 Minnesota. Boy, a big 2-run single last inning by Eddie Rosario has given this game a much different feel. Rangers seemed like they were chipping away a little bit. Now that hole has gotten a little deeper. Dozier hits one on the ground, third base. Beltre backing up, has it on a backhand, and is throw to first. Off the glove of Napoli. Dozier is safe, and they're scoring that an infield hit. His 3rd hit of the night.
Well, it was a great glove play by Adrian Beltre. As you see him backpick this, watch this here. This is the good hands of Adrian Beltre, and he spins and throws, and this ball just kind of died on him a little bit. That's a really tough pick for Mike Napoli. And even after the fact, you saw Adrian Beltre talking about it. By the way, great backup as well by Brett Nicholas getting there in time, but Nap unable to pick that one. But Adrian said he was kind of looking at Elvis, and he was giving the sinker sign, almost like the pitchers throw a 2-seam fastball sinker with your hand, as to say, man, that ball just it had some sink to it. Wasn't expecting that necessarily to happen. The ball, unfortunately, was unable to stay straight in that spot. Runner on first base now with 1 out.
And here is Eduardo Escobar. Escobar 0 for 3. 7-3 Minnesota. Barnett just a little bit off the plate, and it is 1-1. Tony on a relief. Martin Perez went 4 2/3 tonight. Perez allowed 7 runs on 9 hits, walked 2, struck out 2. And it was an interesting one because he had so much trouble in that first inning, a 40-pitch first inning in which he allowed 4 runs. And was 1 out away from getting through that 5th, having allowed just a total of 5 runs and really bouncing back in a significant way. But unfortunately, a 2-strike hit by Rosario mars the line in a big way and puts the Rangers in a tough spot here tonight. This one popped up by Escobar down that right field line, but into the seats. Talked a little bit about how the wild card race has shaped up lately, and teams sorting things out after the trade deadline too, right? I mean, you're still trying to figure out, okay, what do we have? What do the other combatants have? And how do we stack up? Who might get hot? Yankees and Kansas City currently the 2 wild card teams in the American League, but Tampa Bay 3 games over, they made some moves. The Mariners, don't go to sleep on them, 2.5 back, and they have played good baseball now for an extended period of time. It's an interesting group.
I think you look at the rosters of all the teams that are trying to contend, and you're not looking at one and saying, oh yeah, that's the one that has the most dominant players. That's the one that's probably going to go on a run. It's kind of a mystery. I think the Kansas City Royals were that team for a while when they were further back. They have since gone on their run. They find themselves in that 2nd spot, but there's not a rotation or a lineup where you go, yeah, that's the one that actually surprised us a little bit that they haven't been better, and now, look out. So that's what will make this interesting down the stretch.
Full count now on Escobar. A team like the Yankees have lost 4 straight. Tampa Bay's won 3 in a row, and they're knocking on the door. Angels have won 3 straight. We're seeing some teams really way out in front in the race. You're seeing that the clubhouse is seemingly reacting to what front office moves were made. So it's an interesting time as you sort it all out on a day-by-day basis. There's still quite a ways to go in this thing. Runner goes from first, and a foul ball. Escobar keeps the at-bat going.
You mentioned the Yankees losing 4 straight. Both Sonny Gray and Jaime Garcia, 2 of their new acquisitions in their starting rotations, have taken losses the last 2 nights. Garcia tonight, Sonny Gray yesterday. Kind of hoping that'll provide them with the boost that they would like to have. That's certainly a big question mark for those Yankees. A lot of teams looking at their rotations and wishing maybe they were a little bit stronger as they're trying to hold on to some of these wild card spots.
Escobar 0 for 3 so far tonight, and this one fouled back. Keeps it back going at 3-2. So the American League East, 2.5 game lead now for the Red Sox. I mentioned Tampa Bay, they've won 3 straight. Baltimore, one day to the other, you just don't know exactly what you've got, but they're 4 games out on the wild card, 7 back in the division. So many division games left to be played all around baseball too. So those teams are going to have a chance against the teams ahead of them. Again, Dozier running, and again Escobar turns it foul.
Well, only 1 out here, so you think Dozier on the move, of course, to try to stay out of that double play. Of course, the idea of him taking off as well puts you in a good spot if he does get a base hit.
So Barnett huffing and puffing in this at bat with Escobar. This will be his 11th pitch to Escobar. Dozier goes again, and that one is high, ball 4. So one at bat by Escobar to walk and put 2 men on now in front of Miguel Sano.
Another long at bat by one of these Minnesota Twins hitters. Making the Rangers work here tonight. So now Tony Barnett will have to deal with Miguel Sano. Now, a lot of swing and miss, as we know, but also with that cutter that Tony has, right? That right-handed cutter that he uses so much. If he can get Sano to hit one off the end of the bat, certainly a good chance at a double play.
Sano's hit into 9 double plays this year. And that is most on this Twins team. Those are 2 really good outcomes you've just brought up, the strikeout or the double play. Sano, though, is 2 for 3 today. Single in the first, doubled in the second.
Always fun to look at the averages too when you go by pitch. And so Miguel Sano against right-handers this year, hitting .071 on the cutter. 1 for 14. Oh, it's Tony's dominant pitch. I gotta believe we'll see a pretty steady diet of those. There's 2 to start off this at bat. He's crushed fastballs though. 359 against the right-handed fastball this year. That's both 4 and 2 seam fastballs. The off-speed pitches he has really struggled. The changeup sub 200, slider 228, but the cutter has been his nemesis.
Two-strike pitch, and he wouldn't go after that one. You see the strikeouts, most in Major League Baseball for Sano, closing in on 150. This is what, August 4th?
August 4th. Now, keep an eye on this at bat. Cutter down the middle, cutter away, slider away. Now, a lot of times, you think, okay, do I go fastball up and in, try to keep this guy honest, keep him off balance, or do you continue to go away? If I'm Tony Barnett in this situation, I don't even think I take any chances on the fastball based on what we've seen from Sano this year. Just stay hard with that cutter. Yep.
Ooh, almost got him to go. 2-2. Fastball up and in.
I mean, see Tony wording it a little bit. Now, you can do it if he wants to. You just got to be confident. You got to get it there. Very careful with the fastball. Not a pitch you're going to get away with many mistakes against Miguel Sano.
2-2 pitch. Ooh, he came up and in, and he got Sano on the hand. And Sano looks hurt. Those are always frightening when they get a guy on the hand like that. Paul Molitor out there very quickly to take a look at his big slugger.
See here, he's pointing to his pinky. We'll see if this is where that pitch got him. This one had some run on it. This went up and in. An instant reaction from the big man Sano as he goes down. Oh yeah, actually looked a little bit more wrist than pinky.
Yeah, outside of the hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe right on the knuckle at the base of the pinky. Ooh.
Tony knew what he wanted to do. After the breaking balls away, the cutters, the sliders, he figured if I can hit that up and in spot against Miguel Sano, I can get him. And as much as I talk about him being a good fastball hitter, he's absolutely right. On fastballs up and in from right-handed pitchers. Sano just .083 this year. That one had just a little bit too much run on it. And unfortunately caught Sano right on that hand.
Well, and he's going to have to leave the game. That is not good for the Twins and for Sano. We'll get him back into the clubhouse and the trainer's room, no doubt, in a hurry. Meanwhile, Doug Brocail goes out to the mound, and he'll have a word with Tony Barnett because the situation hasn't gotten any easier. He has nowhere to put Joe Mauer. We've seen some of the at-bats that he's turned in so far tonight. They've been pretty impressive. So he's got a tough at-bat coming still as we get the pinch runner, Zach Granite. And Austin Bibbins-Dirks preparing it in case needed.
Think about this. Austin was up 2 hours ago. Back in the first inning. It was 9:30 local time here in Minnesota. Austin had gotten up in that first inning. His game started at 7:11. He was up around 7:20. That's a difficult task right there. High adrenaline. When you see your starter struggle like that, like we saw Martin Perez in those first couple innings, you're a long man, you get up. I think there's a pretty good chance you're getting in the game. Ended up not happening. You cool down for a couple of hours and then crank it back up again.
Well, Mauer's found his way aboard a couple of times tonight. You see a .352 hitter with the bases loaded in his career. 0 for 1 with a walk. He was hit by pitches last time up. Twins all over the place here. When yanked inside, it's 1-1.
Now, a little bit of a different look here for Joe Mauer. We mentioned the numbers for Sano against the cutter. Well, Joe Mauer this year against right-handed cutters, a .375 batting average again. So that's been a good pitch for him, one that he likes. The ones that he has struggled on, the slider, 195. The changeup from righties, 176. And he's 0 for 5 against split fingers, which Tony Barnett does throw a split finger.
The 1-1 fouled back for strike 2. Well, it's a 7-3 game. Rangers have plenty of work to do if they want to come back and win this ball game. But right now, the stakes couldn't be any higher really for Tony Barnett, at least in terms of this game, because one ball left over the plate really makes it tough on the Rangers. If Mauer were to turn it around, the 1-2 pitch, and it's low and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, the important thing to keep in mind too as we go through those pitches and batting averages against, it doesn't mean you can't throw a pitch. It doesn't mean just because Joe Mauer is hitting .375 off a right-handed cutter this year means you don't do it, right? I mean, he's still getting himself out better than 6 out of 10 times when he puts that ball in play. But what it does mean, a little bit careful with the location of that pitch. Know that if you make a mistake on that pitch, it's a good one for him. But you still got to go with what you feel when you're the pitcher on the mound.
Mauer shoots that one just barely foul. Ooh.
Watch this here. Good angle. You're going to get a good look at just how close this was. But it was clearly foul.
Dozier at third, Escobar at second. And Zach Granite at first.
You know, based on that swing, the way you kind of slapped the ball to the left, see whether Tony wants to go in or go with the split. I do like the split here. Down and away. Looks like they might be thinking fastball in.
High pop up off into the seats.
I think that made Joe Mauer such a great hitter over the years. High on base percentage, good pitch recognition, but also his ability to use the entire field, have really good plate coverage. So you see Tony Barnett now going to both sides of the plate, trying to get him off balance. I'm going to do this 2-2 again.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And he fouls off yet another one. My goodness. Look at the pitches seen per at bat tonight for Mauer. 10 in the first inning when he walked. 8 when he grounded out of the second. They just finally hit him in his third at bat in the 5th inning. Said enough. 2 pitches, and now this will be the 8th pitch here with the bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th inning. Barnett's 2-2.
Oh,
it's a full count.
He wanted that one. You see a little bit of reaction there from Tony Barnett. That was well located. Take a look here. Just off.
Payoff pitch. Mauer swings. Lifts it out into left field. Gallo underneath it. Tagging at third, Dozier. Here comes the throw. The tag.
Oh.
And he got under it. Nicholas had to leave his feet to go get the baseball. Came down, looked like he might have blocked Dozier from touching home plate. Didn't put the tag on him, but Dozier was called safe. Jeff Bannister asking for a look on replay up in the clubhouse.
Oh, what a throw here by Joey Gallo. Yes, a little bit high, but just the strength of this throw. Let's see as he comes down. The umpire blocks us off right there. We'll take another look. Different angle. See, this is the one you want to see right here. Get down and, oh, looked like that foot might have just caught the corner of the plate.
Well, Jeff Bannister is going to challenge it.
Look at the carry on the throw right there. Did that catch it? The question is whether
to me, he's not on the plate right there yet, right?
That's hard to tell. That's going to be the one that's going to tell you, because after that, you got the glove right on the knee. Let's take a look at this one a little bit slower. Is the toe at the corner?
Yeah,
probably. Now, the only thing you can't see from that angle is whether or not that toe's in the air.
yeah.
Right? But it does appear that he might have caught the corner of it. That's an encouraging sign, though, watching Joey Gallo get behind that baseball, show off the really strong arm. Now, in those kind of situations, yes, you want him throwing through without a doubt. He's got the strong enough arm to do it. I guess the question becomes where, okay, well, would you want the long hop to your catcher if you got to choose, or that little bit of a high throw? It was aggressive. And the more outfield Joey Gallo plays, I think the more comfortable he'll get, and the confidence to kind of throw those balls down, pull them down just a little bit. Great velocity on the arm.
Well, we've told the story before, but was clocked at 100 miles per hour in high school in closing a game, and the call will stand. It was very close, and it was just hard to definitively say that he was out, and so the run scores 8-3 Minnesota. As we take a look at how replay review has worked this year through August 3rd, 23% confirmed, 29% the calls stood, 46% overturned. And they'd like to see, Major League Baseball would like to see that number get over 50. And that's counterintuitive, I think, to a lot of viewers. They're like, what do you mean? They want to see more bad calls? It's not that. Is it? They just want to see the review used in a way that is productive, that legitimately overturns calls and affect the outcome of the game.
And that average time is an improvement, too. That is the best we have seen so far. We've had 3 years going back to 2014, looking at the data. That first year in 2014, 146 was the average. 2 years ago, 151. So baseball was going in the wrong direction. And so they've been a conscious effort to try to pick it up. Last year, 2016, average time of replay, 1 minute and 38 seconds. So they've shaved off 8 seconds. They'll continue to work on that, try to make that happen as quickly as possible. You get that crazy one once in a while, the 5-6 minute one completely throws it out of whack.
2 away on the sac fly. Now Robbie Grossman takes one a little bit in. 1-1 the count. Grossman has hit a 3-run homer. He has also doubled and scored. He's had a huge night at the plate. Also a guy they wanted to get re-engaged again offensively. He got off to a great start this year, but had slowed down quite a bit lately, and well, we see him come back to life here tonight. He has hit the ball well against the Rangers all year, and even going back into last year. 1-1 pitch and a swing and a miss, strike 2. Last year, I don't know what it was, but the Rangers and Twins got together. That's when the Twins flexed their muscles. They had some big offensive games against the Rangers, and so all the numbers sort of reflect that. Guys like Eddie Rosario and Robbie Grossman and others. Big swing and a miss. That's strike 3, and so Barnett gets the strike out of Grossman to end the inning, but a run does score on the sac fly. We've played 6 so far tonight. Right now, the Twins with a 5-run lead. Elvis Andrus, a couple of doubles tonight with a run scored, has been a big part of the Rangers offense. 3 runs on 7 hits. But Brian Dozier, home runs in his first 2 at bats. Robbie Grossman, a big day at the plate as well. And then, of course, last inning, saw Miguel Sano lead the game. He was hit in the hand by a pitch and is up in the clubhouse now. So we go to the 7th. Rangers down by 5 and facing the fountain of youth, Bartolo Colon. Pretty decent line so far tonight for the 44-year-old right-hander, and he gets a strike in there to Carlos Gomez.
Going back out there here in the 7th. The pitch count certainly very manageable. We saw double barrels in the Minnesota Twins bullpen last inning. Thought maybe that was an indicator that Bartolo Colon might have been finished.
Yeah, I almost made that assumption, I guess, that we were not going to see any more of him when I saw the righty and lefty warming up. 1-2 the count on Gomez, but here is Bartolo Colon again. Well, there you see the activity in that Twins bullpen. Colon, I mean, the pitch count very much in check. He's just about to hit 80 pitches for the night. And he certainly had plenty of rest during some of these innings. And he gets strike 3 called, so he shuts down Gomez quickly to start the 7th.
This is kind of vintage Bartolo Colon. There's the fastball, 2-seamer. That pitch is a ball the entire way, comes back and just catches the outside corner. It's the first strikeout he has on a non-changeup. 4th of the night. The other 3 came via the changeup. That one on the fastball.
Colon 235 career wins. There's Nicholas unable to stop himself. That is strike 1. And Colon closing in on the record for wins by a Dominican-born pitcher. That record is held by the great Juan Marichal. The Giants. Marichal won 243 games in his career, although that was a career that went just 16 years, as Colon in his 20th season in the big leagues. Bouncing ball near the mound, and Colon will take care of it. Throws over to first and retires Nicholas 2 away.
Bartolo Colon, the El Gato out there fielding his position. First, watch the bat here as a piece goes flying off, and you're going to see Bartolo Colon. Look at the hops. Nice play, shuffle the feet, perfect throw.
Sometimes I wonder if we're rerunning footage on those up closes of Colon from the 1st inning, 4th inning. I don't know. He looks the same every time. Roller down to first, and he couldn't make the 7th inning look any easier. Maurer helping him out defensively, and it's another 1-2-3 for Bad Bart. We go to the bottom of the 7th. They stand and stretch tonight here in the Twin Cities. The home team up by 5. by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. What's the rush, everybody? Where are they going?
Slow down. There's speed limits in this town.
Man. Bartolo, he's pretty relaxed, working on that gum and working on a pretty good pitching line. 84 pitches in, 7 really good innings. And Austin Bibbins-Dirks comes on now for the Rangers in the last of the 7th.
Well, we told you Austin had been warming up for quite a while, but here's the pitch arsenal, and it's a pretty deep one. Fastball, cutter, changeup, predominantly what we'll see from Austin. That slider as well, and curveball will mix it in once in a while. Changing arm angles as well. You see him drop down with all of his pitches, as well as throwing from his traditional 3/4 arm angle.
He goes to work against Chris Jimenez. Jimenez struck out in the 5th inning. 1 for 3. In the dirt, it's 1-1. Jimenez, Eddie Rosario, and Byron Buxton in this 7th inning. Martin Perez went 4 2/3 in his start today. Allowed 7 runs on 9 hits, and he's on a stretch now of a handful of consecutive starts that have not looked real good for him. Swing and a miss by Jimenez. Count 1-2.
We were talking about Bartolo Colon real quick. Looks like maybe that'll be it for him tonight. We will see. But 44 years old, turned 44 in May. He is 1 year away from being eligible to collect his big league pension if he would like to. You can start as early as 45 with that major league pension plan. That's an option for Bartolo next year.
Even as you're playing, you can.
I mean, 45 is 45. Now it's, yeah, you can start as early as 45. I believe you have to be collecting by the time you're 63 or 64, something like that. Well, then you have to do it, because the longer you wait, the higher the amount. And obviously, Bartolo Colon well above the 10-year maximum. He's got over 18 years of service time coming into this season. Most likely will finish with 19 years of service time, assuming he finishes out the year if he doesn't retire. Yeah, you can. It's available to him if he needs to.
Yeah, well, need.
He's making $12.5 million this year. Probably does not need to start collecting the pension.
1-2 from Bibbins-Dirks off the plate, and that will square the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Jimenez. Bottom of the 7th, 8-3 Twins. One in the dirt, so it's a full count. Goes without saying that a guy like Bartolo Colon not playing for the money, certainly at least at this point in his career. Mentioned the pursuit of the Dominican dandy Juan Marichal and trying to get that record for the most wins ever by a Dominican-born pitcher. I think that motivates him pretty significantly. 3-2 pitch, and there is a hopper pass short. Boy, that ball was smoked by Jimenez. So a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Well, we'll take the opportunity for a Chevy game break and send it back once again to Dana Larson. Well, pretty impressive. They had lost 3 in a row, and I know there was some disappointment around the trade deadline moves or lack thereof in that clubhouse. In fact, some of their players had been rather vocal about it. So I'm sure that there starts to build a little pressure too in a clubhouse like that, even as great as they have played this year, to Well, make sure they don't let it become too big a distraction. Get back in that win column. From the sounds of things, they're well on their way to that tonight. Bouncer second base. Flagged beautifully by Odor to second for one. On to first. Got him! Double play. Nicely done by Odor and Andrus again. A 4-6-3 twin killing.
This is an amazing play by Rougned Odor. First to field this ball cleanly, and then to deliver a great throw. Watch it here. It's going to be a great view of this. A hard one hopper. You see the hands. Throws it from his knees. Gives Elvis Andrus a feed that he can handle, and an Elvis with the nice turn, and Mike Napoli as well. That high throw and holding the bag. We talk a lot about how the Rangers are so good at turning the double play. Look at this from his knees, and then that big long turn that Elvis has to make. Fantastic.
So 2 away, and Byron Buxton takes strike one. This one lifted foul over to the right side, out of play.
So Dana was just telling us about that Astros game. We'll see how it finishes when it's all said and done. 14-7 right now. They are leading. The Astros starting pitcher Brad Peacock in line for a win after giving up 7 runs. It'll be the 3rd time that's happened this year, believe it or not. 2 other starting pitchers have picked up a win after giving up 7 runs. Goodness. That is A.J. Griffin type run support.
A swing and a miss by Buxton, and Bibbins Dirks works a scoreless 7th. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Rangers need to get that offense rolling.
TNT high-speed replay, and it's going to be the Twins starting pitcher Bartolo Colon, 44 years old. A couple of strikeouts there on a changeup. There is another one on a changeup, and then a fastball painted away to Carlos Gomez, and the big man fielding his position as well. Bartolo Colon, the righty. Nice job here tonight for the Minnesota Twins. 7 innings worth of work, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 70% strikes, and he's not done. Thought for sure he was done. Headed back out there, Bartolo Colon here in the 8th.
We'll go after Elvis Andrus with ball 1 upstairs. Andrus, Mazara, Beltre. Why not? A little bit high, 2-0.
So I thought we saw the conversation he was having with his pitching coach, Neil Allen. That looked like it was an explanation of why they were taking him out. Usually that's what happens in those spots. But Neil Allen instead just kind of checking in with Bartolo Colon and talking about, hey, send you back out there, you're cool with it? And he's probably, yeah, whatever. It's kind of what his body language says, right?
Yeah,
the body language just is like, yeah, okay.
Bouncer, and that one by third into left field. Base hit for Elvis. He'll cruise to second. And Andrus with his third double of the night. So for everything that Bartolo Colon's been able to do well tonight, the one thing he hasn't done is slow down Elvis Andrus.
You mentioned good night here for Elvis now. 3 doubles. He did strike out that one time. We saw it there in the reel, but there's a fastball that's just kind of sitting middle in. Catches a bunch of the plate, and Elvis Andrus all over it.
So now, Nomar Mazara. Nomar with an RBI single. Milwaukee has also popped up tonight. 8-3, Twins lead. Colon's first pitch in this one is up in the air, out to left field. Rosario to his left. He'll make the catch. Andrus tags. He heads to third. The throw will be late. And so the fly ball moves Elvis to 90 feet away. Well, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. You can learn more about how you can get involved this fall by visiting foxsportsupports.com. One away, Andrus at third base now for Adrian Beltre. For Colon, this is his 35th career start against the Rangers. Mentioned at the start of the broadcast, 20-9. He's 20-9 against the Rangers. Most wins that he has against any team he has faced. And it's the most wins by any pitcher for the opposition in the history of the Rangers franchise. Well, Trey fouls it back at the count 0-2.
You mentioned Juan Marshall and the 243 wins that he has in his career. Bartolo Colon is able to get a win tonight. That would bring him to 236. 7 to go. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think
get there?
Yeah, I think he can get there.
Tough to do this year, I think, for him.
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
Not this year.
So he's got to come back again at 45. He'd turn 45 in May next year.
Promised his mom that he would pitch next year at age 45.
He did?
Yep.
Then why were we hearing that stuff about potential retirement and all this stuff out there?
He wants to keep going.
Promised his mom.
Yep.
Now, this would be great to see, don't get me wrong. Bartolo Colon, Satchel Paige. Keep going, man.
Did he make his debut against Satchel Paige?
Yeah, Satch was, at that point was only in the bullpen. It was released, so they didn't get to start against each other. They really started to slow down.
Beltre fights off another one foul. Well, you know, speaking of who he made his debuts against, in his first career game, Bartolo Colon faced Eddie Murray, the great switch hitter with the Orioles, whose own career started in 1977.
Then you mean, so basically, then you take Eddie Murray, his rookie,
Right. Yep. Exactly.
the oldest player, and then
Who
next
do you
thing you know, 3 players later, we're talking about
Kevin Bacon. Beltre strikes out swinging. 2 away. Fans here getting a kick out of this effort tonight for Bartolo Colon.
At least somebody is, because he doesn't seem like he's getting a kick out of much anything.
It's another day at the office. Make sure you get that cover sheet on your TPS report. Andrus at third. Odor hitless in 3 tries. He's going after that one.
Still really good run on the fastball from Bartolo Colon, even though a little bit more elevated than he wanted it. 90 miles an hour with late life.
Bouncer right side. Dozier is there. And what do you know? Bartolo Colon puts up another goose egg. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. You're watching something special with that man anytime he goes out. They're asking him, right? And he's saying, come on, what are you serious?
Well, that's what else I got to do. Sure.
I came to work today. We're not done. Looks like he's made a deal. I saw it initially.
No handshakes.
Reading his lips, I thought I saw him say one more. That's the lucky gumshoe right there, right? Yeah, like you say, no handshake, so probably.
Uno mas.
Well, first pitch at the bottom of the 8th inning. And Polanco sends it right into center field for a base hit.
Well, here's a nostalgic giveaway item that will make you feel like a kid in a toy shop. The first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Saturday, August 19th will be treated to an Adrian Beltre starting lineup figurine courtesy of McDonald's. The Rangers will be taking on the White Sox. That game is at 7:05 p.m. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or go old school and call 972-RANGERS. There he is in real life.
Kind of seems like a kid in a toy store all the time. Austin Bibbins-Dirks. And he gets that one right in there for a strike to Brian Dozier's had a real nice night tonight. 3 for 4 with a couple of homers. Polanco over at first base. It's a 5-run lead for the Twins. They're certainly not in any position to turn down additional runs of support, but they have to be feeling pretty good about the situation they're in. Austin put up a 0 in the 7th inning, despite giving up the leadoff single to Chris Gimenez. He got a great double play to really help him out. Keep Polanco close. Well, we've visited some of the standings tonight, whether it be the American League East or the wild card standings and whatnot. Dodgers won again today, a shutout win for LA. They're 77-32. By far the best record in the National League. Better than 70% win percentage for them. And I just saw a note. They became the first team in 105 years to go on a 42-7 stretch. Last team to do that, win 42 of 49 games in a season, the 1912 New York Giants.
My goodness.
Yeah. They got a little something going out there in LA. Dozier puts this one into medium deep right field. One away.
Playing some great baseball. The Dodgers certainly are. Of course, some additions at the trading deadline. Darvish, of course, everyone is aware of that. Some left-handed relief help as well.
Darvish pitched very well tonight for LA as they continue their march to what looks like an inevitable showdown somewhere deep in the postseason. You figure, I don't know, Washington, Chicago. It's interesting in the National League because as great as the Dodgers are, I don't think it's a cakewalk.
Gosh, no. I mean, they don't think that way for sure. It's a lot of fun. It's been a great regular season. We certainly expect that it will continue to be a good regular season for them, but they have some postseason demons that they have to get over for a team that is on their way to their 5th straight National League West title. Hasn't resulted in anything that they've wanted to have in the postseason. Clayton Kershaw had some bad luck. He doesn't have David Price type numbers in the postseason, but he's also had some issues. The whole time the conversation, you talk about the National League and left-handed pitchers, and you get to the postseason. Kershaw is a Hall of Fame level pitcher. He probably get to the Hall of Fame right now based on what he has done. But he hasn't had the big postseason moment yet. And people in California love to say, well, you go up north, and our guy has, and Madison Bumgarner, what he's done in the postseason. It's kind of a fun conversation. Clayton Kershaw, the best regular season pitcher in baseball. I think that's a fair statement. But when it comes to the postseason, it hasn't happened yet. You may pick somebody else that you'd want to have pitching in the postseason for you right now over Clayton Kershaw. So that's where they have something left to prove. He does personally. And he's had some good games. I don't take anything away from him, but no doubt. It's not David Price, who has never won a postseason start. Like, that's been a small disaster for him. But Kershaw's had some bad luck along the way. And he hasn't had the bullpen support over the years when Don Manning was managing. Seemed like they left him out there maybe a little bit longer at times.
Escobar with a high fly ball out to left center. Gomez able to get underneath it. And that is out number 2.
So while this regular season has been fun, it will be all about the postseason and really making your mark. Because the Dodgers can't at least get to the World Series. Listen, winning one is hard. Getting there is hard. They don't even get to the World Series. Doesn't matter if they win 120 games. It would be considered a huge disappointment.
Well, I mean, going back though to what you're saying about Kershaw, let me ask you this. So I get it, right? Madison Bumgarner has gotten it done. He's had the success. And for whatever variety of reasons, it hasn't quite played out that way for Kershaw. But you're the manager / GM, whatever. You're the all-knowing poobah in a situation. You can have any pitcher in the game right now for that Game 7. Your team's heading out there, and this is it. Who are you picking? Are you not picking Kershaw because of whatever history?
I still believe in him all day long.
So
I would be really thrilled to have him making that start for me and be unbelievably confident. The question is, it's fun. We love to play these games, right? Just kind of imagine and understand they're 2 National League teams, so it doesn't matter. The best of Max Scherzer, the best of Clayton Kershaw, the best of Chris Sale. Having that conversation, those 3 guys, the best Madison Bumgarner. I mean, flip a coin. But then you start to say, okay, well, who's done it? Madison Bumgarner's done it. I believe all of them could do it, no doubt. I believe any one of those guys could throw a no-hitter in Game 7 of the World Series. They're absolutely capable. But
fact is, he's done it. So you lean to Madison?
A little bit. It's tough not to. I tell you what, though. I mean, this season right now, Chris Sale's a tough one to stay away from.
Ooh.
They're all great. I mean, it is really like trying to pick your favorite child. They're all fantastic.
Strike in there to Zach Granite, who came on to pinch run. Austin Bibbins-Dirks gave up a leadoff single in the 7th. Leadoff single here in the 8th. I'll take Bartolo Colon. This one popped up. Left side. Beltre coming down the line and makes the play. And now it's going to be up to the Rangers. Can they get something going against Big Bart. Ninth inning is next. Yeah, ninth inning, Bartolo Colon going to try and complete this thing. Big right-hander's first pitch to Napoli. In there, strike one. Now listen to these fans, man. They're having fun. Last complete game, 2015 against the Marlins. But he's done it 36 times previously.
So you just heard Dana Larson talking about an anniversary they're going to talk about from 1993. I don't know if it's going to be the signing of Bartolo Colon.
Probably not.
Who signed June 26th.
Come on.
1993. Yes.
High pop-up. Right side of the infield. Right away. MLB.tv every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.tv for details. So we talked earlier tonight, too, about how Colon is trying to chase down Juan Marichal. And this could be his 37th complete game tonight. That's what he's shooting for. Marichal had 244 complete games in his career.
That's safe. That record.
It's a pretty good one. .100 pitches tonight. Gallo fouls that one away. The count 0-2. Well, I've got a real nice crowd and a spectacular evening tonight here. And they've gotten into this thing. Bouncer, right side. Dozier on top of it. And Bartolo Colon needs one more out. Hey, tomorrow we're going to get after it just a little bit earlier in our AT&T pitching matchup. Cole Hamels will take his 5-1 record to the mound for the Rangers. Kyle Gibson gets the ball for the Twins. Hope you'll join us for that. Our pregame coverage will begin at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Southwest. That'll be game 3 of this 4-game series. Over 22,000 here tonight. Many of them on their feet. This is kind of a cool environment here as Gomez fouls it out of play. They haven't had a ton to cheer for. Early in the season, they got off to a nice start here, but some disappointment in the last month or so. But folks, taking it in. One of the greats. Gomez hits this ball well. Out into left field. Gone! Into the seats. A solo shot for Carlos Gomez. Number 15 for Carlos, and it makes it an 8-4 game.
Well, Carlos Gomez did not want to be the last out of this one, and as much as we found interest in a 44-year-old trying to throw a complete game, Carlos Gomez not having it. You see a changeup that finished just below the zone. Carlos does a great job of staying on it, driving that ball out to left field.
So Colon will try to regroup. And he gets one right in there to Nicholas. First strike one. Rangers scored 2 runs before folks here had settled in at all. The first 4 hitters of the game. Beltre delivered a big 2-run single, and there was some loud contact. And this one lined to first, taken on a hop by Mauer. He'll go to the bag. Nicholas just about snuck it by, but that is a complete game for Bartolo Colon at age 44. And he helps the Twins to the 8-4 win.
It was impressive to watch. Certainly not what we want to see as Rangers fans, but at 44 years old, Bartolo Colon throws 106 pitches. His first complete game, as we mentioned, since 2015, doing it with a fastball that sat around 88 miles an hour for most of the night. Great command from Bartolo. Just 1 walk to go with his 5 strikeouts.
Well, that's impressive. His 21st career victory against the Rangers. Bartolo Colon and the Twins win game 2 by an 8-4 score. Dana Larson, Tom Grieve, and Mike Bassett will be back to talk much more about the effort of the big right.